Hi everybody, it's Maha here, and I'm back again today to read from my book, Dance of the Womb. And I'll just wait till a few of you can come on board. Last week I read a chapter about Amina, my grandmother, and the domes and my Palestinian roots. And today I want to continue now into an introduction of belly dance for birth, or as I now call my work, embody birth. And a few people asked me, how did I get to write my book? And it was a really interesting story. In the year 2000, when my boys were 1 and 4, their father and I went to a trip around the world. We went to England and Lebanon, and the last place we went to was Western Samoa. And in Western Samoa, we were there for a month. We were on a beautiful beach, and I was just sitting on the beach, and my son Tariq was just actually picking fresh bananas off the banana trees, and it was a beautiful, relaxed end to our journey. And a woman was speaking to me, and she asked me, "What do you do?" And I said, "I've been teaching this beautiful dance of birth and the dance of the womb for women to bring them into their confidence in their body, to feel the lack of fear, to know that everything that is within them, that the body wisdom of birth is within it, all of us." And she said to me that women need to know this. You need to write a book about this. This is amazing. And she said, "I think women all over the world would resonate with your work." And I lay there thinking to myself, wow, I think I really need to write about this and share it with the world. So, oh, I better just, hi Richard. Hi Richard. So I decided when I got back from that trip, and that was in the year 2000, 2001, early 2001, I decided I'm going to write a book about my life journey and about my work in sharing with women about birth and how to be confident for birth using the movements of belly dance birth, the dance of the womb. And that's how my book was written. And it was written over about 1.5 years. And it wasn't until the year 2000, when I was just shy of my 46th birthday and pregnant with my daughter Amina, that I launched the book in Byron Bay. So it was a wonderful contribution that I gave to the world and sharing my story. And as mentioned last week, I read you the chapter about Amina, my grandmother, and the domes and my Palestinian heritage. So today's chapter is the introduction to my work. So those who've joined, once again, I'm just reading from my award-winning world first book, Dance of the Womb, and I'm reading from the introduction. So by utilizing the movements of the belly dance for birth in its most potent form as an aid toward conscious childbirth, we are giving women a divine and gracious gift. As I've integrated my personal identity, my Eastern roots with my Western experience, I wish to reveal the ancient art of the belly dance in this very same duality. Much of my knowledge has emerged from personal experience, some channeled from the inner depths of my ancestral roots, and some research from books, the internet, articles, and by talking to a diverse range of women from both Middle Eastern and Western backgrounds. And I pay particular credit to some of those who I acknowledge in the book. My primary aim is not to argue the origins of belly dance for birthing from a historical viewpoint, nor am I attempting to simply detail exact technical instruction of the dance. My greatest interest has come from the perspective of personal realization and wisdom gained from blossoming into a mother myself and instinctively connecting to my primal memory and cultural identity through my association with the birth dance and its expansive rhythm. I see the dance as cultivating multi-dimensional layers of awareness that impact on and affect a woman's emotional, physical, and spiritual journey. As the belly dance is often being construed as having sexual appeal alone, I do not believe that this image has done it justice. My wonderful Egyptian friend Faiza, who grew up in Cairo and I have a story in my book entitled The Last Dance, explains some significant facts about what belly dancing represented in both the past and now. In summary, she explained to me that the dance was rejected in Egypt because it came from the Turks, or the Ottoman Empire, who ruled Egypt for 300 years. And secondly, that it was also linked to prostitution because it was a means for poorer women to earn a living. She further explained that today in modern Egypt, many of the great belly dancers have fought long and hard to establish the foundations of belly dancing as a respectable art form protected by law, and that the knowledge of the dance has been preserved in a Cairo school for belly dancers. This broader base allows us to view the dance as part of a cultural need and hence a life necessity, overshadowing any of its underworld connotations. In contemporary life here in the West, we have seen the explosion in popularity of Middle Eastern dance. It has touched the lives of many women, regardless of their cultural background, in so many positive ways. Still, it wasn't until I was exposed to the dance in my cultural homeland at the age of 21 that I began to understand my true blood relationship to it. For me, there was something particularly special to feel the dance in its authentic cultural domain. The contact I experienced from my relatives and other Arab women largely planted the seed to the most important aspects of this dance. It somehow seemed to bear the fruit of a sense of spiritual belonging. The dance meeting the dancer, pulsating to a fine connective tune, released from structure, yet embracing all. This influence has stayed close to my heart and further flourished in my own pregnancy and birth journey. And so it is in this delicate arena of pregnancy and birth that I witnessed the holistic nature of the dance utilized by women to assist them in revealing layers of truths in relation to their mothering journey, before, during, and after the act of giving birth. And this is why I've changed my program to the name Embody Birth, because how can we embody all aspects of birth? How can we reduce fear? How can we gain confidence? How can we truly be in our bodies, be in our authenticity and our integrity for birth, to embody it? And the way that we embody birth, one of the ways, is through the belly dance birth movements. So that is what I'm teaching and reading from today, my book, Dance of the Womb. How do we really and truly embody birth using these instinctive movements? In my experience, these revelations allowed my own personal expression to be explored, and I came to understand that the divine moment of now has such immense power. Reflected within this deep pool of sacredness, I realized my perfection as a strong and capable birthing woman. And I've been particularly fortunate to have been experiencing this transition into motherhood in a very special place here in Australia, Byron Bay, referred to by our Indigenous people as a fertile meeting place. This area promotes positive birthing, informed choice, as well as aware birthing mothers, with many midwives supporting both home and water birth. Now remember, this was written in the early 2000s, so a lot has changed since then, I have to say. But this is where I came to. This kind of culture in Byron Bay was where I came to birth my babies. And it was very, very normal to have home birth midwives. In fact, we used to interview the midwives and choose the midwife that we resonated with the most, who we felt the most safe and secure with to give birth with. So this is what I hope we can bring back to the global birthing world, because it's very, very important to choose those people around us, including our midwife and anyone who attends us at birth, who we feel safe and secure with. And that is different for every woman. The environment within which we give birth is very particular and individual, and we need to respect and honor what that looks and feels like for every woman. And our pregnancy support group that I attended here in Byron Bay was attended by hundreds of women over the years, and men and partners. And we always had an honest and informative and inviting and empowering and supporting place to come to. And through this group, I was encouraged to probe deeper into my attitudes around pregnancy and birth, my beliefs, my thoughts. What did I feel birth was? Where did I come from? Where did I get my ideas about giving birth? And so this group was very supportive, acknowledging that we all come from different places when we look through the lens of birth. And my environment felt like a warm, extended family, and I'll be forever grateful to have been part of this vibrant birthing community. Just as importantly, the affirmation of my status as woman and mother was acknowledged and entrusted to me in reflection with the great ocean and the lush mountain terrain enveloping this beautiful paradise that is Byron Bay. And it is within this encouraging network of women that the unveiling and unlayering of my personal story and creative fountain through the dance and writing began to flow. And as I document aspects of my life journey, blending the emotional, physical, and spiritual benefits of using belly dancing to embody birth, I would in turn hope to inspire all women to take a closer look at their own mothering journey and feel ready to bear the layers of her story. The intense level of feelings and thoughts that arm you in the wake of this journey can be surprising. By taking a deep and honest look into our lives in all its many shadows and colours, we can truly begin to understand what has influenced and formed our belief systems, values, and personality over the years, as I spoke about. When we strip down to the rawness of our deepest subconscious and connect to the feminine principle, we can begin to let go of our restrictive baggage. We can self-inquire, look at ourselves deeply. What is going on under the surface of the self that we present to the world in our unconscious world? This doesn't mean that we're in a state of denial. It means that we accept who we are as women without denying the scope of our rational and emotional worlds that allow us to be fully present and to be fully human. In our quest for a blessed life, we can be free to greet our mothering nature with open arms, instinctively opening the doors to our love and our fears while never denying our femininity. And this is a very important aspect of my work and my program, is that we acknowledge that we have this kaleidoscope of emotions, that every emotion is valuable and valid. And if I feel fear, that is okay. I work with my fear. I walk through into the gateway of fear and I inquire about, why do I have fear around birth? Once I can acknowledge that and I can deeply sit with that and not judge that as right or wrong, really be in my feelings, whatever that is, my joys as well, my celebration, my anxiety, my vulnerability, my strength. Everything is valuable and important when we come to give birth. And I tell women, don't deny that array of feelings that you feel that sits in your womb space connected to your baby. It's okay to inquire upon those feelings. So the process of surrender that takes place on this journey into awakening is deeply represented in the art form of belly dancing for birth, where we dance into a place that invites us to face our deepest selves, including our inhibitions as we enter into the birthing domain. In a recent conversation I had with a hospital midwife on natural birth outcomes, she told me, on the whole, in her regular observation of birthing women, those who were the most free from inhibition had better birth outcomes and less intervention, besides unforeseen complications. I explained to her that this process of shedding inhibitions was the same feeling evoked from experiencing this dance of birth, and that the dance was a positive and tool designed to enhance a woman's birthing experience and preparation. It is not only immensely enjoyable and sensual, but also significant in helping women tune into the true seat of femininity that resides within her hips, within her breasts, within her pelvic region, connected to her baby. It is often a place construed as being sexually secretive and out of bounds, or what we have today, which isn't in my book. As you know, I wrote this book 9 years ago or more, or was published 9 years ago. A lot has changed. There's a lot of shaming of women's bodies. There's a lot of limitation around what a woman's body is to the world view, and especially for birthing. We keep women in a very limited box when it comes to birth. But birth is a sexual experience. Birth is part of our sexual expression as women. It is also a spiritual experience. It is where our sexuality and our femininity meet spirit, to meet our baby, to embrace our partner, to embrace our family, to put that out into the world, into the community. Our sexual expression through birth is very, very important because that is who we are as women. And through the dance, we find that aspect of ourselves to celebrate our sensuality, our sexuality, our spirituality for birth. Both Arabic and African dance centered on articulated torsos. Both dance forms are earthy and strongly rooted and are based on a wealth of movement in the pelvis, seat not only of intense sensation, but our deepest taboos. And that is from Wendy Bonaventura's book, Beauty of the East. And I say, touch, explore, and enter this domain through story, song, dance, and ultimately through birth. I feel eternally grateful that I have experienced giving birth totally informed and have further been able to reap the benefits of my cultural dance and share this with so many women, sharing the joy and beauty it wholeheartedly represents. I hope that the positive aspects of my dance and birthing experience will excite other women to see the possibility of transformation in amongst the horror stories we so often hear when pregnant. On the other hand, I do not wish to negate or sugarcoat the challenging emotional and physical aspects of giving birth, or the difficulty in accepting a disempowering birth experience. I strongly hope to convey a faith in women to be informed by birthing from within and seeking out truthful birth dialogue from as many sources as possible, as today we have so much information to source. But don't forget, one of my very special memes is that the living book is within. Read her. Come to your heart space, come into your womb space with your baby. Create space within that space to truly listen to the living book of the feminine that resides within you as a woman. So if you hear something or feel or encounter something from the advice you see or read that does not resonate with your truly open self, or pulls you away from your intuition, keep searching until you find a point of deeper connection that supports your feelings and those around you that support you too. But don't forget, in all of this abundance of information, as I mentioned, both the wealth of intrinsic knowledge and the innate biological birthing information that is stored within the exquisite recesses of our feminine primal brain, ready to be utilized when labor begins. And I talk a lot in my Embody Birth program about engaging the primal brain for birth and reducing the neocortex activity, because it is in the primal brain that birth happens. So finally, if you are moved to take positive, affirming action towards your pregnancy journey through reading my book, Dance of the Womb, then I will be overjoyed. It only requires the first step, courage, and you can begin to dance to the rhythm of the music as you give birth to the rhythm of your body and to the rhythm of life. So that is the end of the chapter introduction of my book, Dance of the Womb. And as I mentioned at the beginning, I launched this book in 2007, and I self-published my book, and it's a world first award-winning book on how we can embody birth using the principles of belly dance for birth movements. And remember, these movements are within every woman's womb. They are instinctive, intuitive movements of birth. The more we are severed from our inner knowing, the less we'll be receptive and engaged with those movements and that birth wisdom that is in the womb. So we have to be very, very careful as women not to be distracted from what we already know to be our truth around birth. There's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of people and systems and organizations trying to pull us away from our internal truth around birth. And know that everything you need is within you to give birth as nature intended. Trust in birth. Trust in this wisdom. Trust in yourself. And if you would like to have more information about how you can access this trust, then my work in embodied birth, using the principles of belly dance birth, gentle movements for birth, meditative movements for birth, accessing the shapes of birth, the spiral, the circle, the figure eight movements, the wave-like motions, all of that, when we can access those shapes of nature that are within us through the dance, through the birthing dance, through the dance of the womb, the dance of the feminine, will open and expand the body so you will be able to feel that life force energy moving through you. You'll be able to feel and listen to your baby, to talk to your baby through your body. Connect, trust, be inspired, and know again that your body knows how to give birth. So if you're interested in getting my book, Dance of the Womb, you can go to my website on www.maha, M-A-H-A-L-A-L, Musa, M-U-S-A.com, and you can get my book. And I've also got a beautiful DVD that you can download as well, which was a follow-on to my book. So all of the movements that are in my book, you can watch me pregnant with my daughter Amina at almost 46 when I made this DVD, doing all of these movements and inspiring you to find the rhythm of birth within, to find that trust for birth within you. So I hope that you will have a look at the book and the DVD on my website, and lots of information about my Embody Birth program as well. And next year in 2017, I'll be doing more trainings, teaching others to become Embody Birth teachers, so you can start classes teaching these beautiful movements and inspiring women for birthing. And always remembering that that living book is within. If we start with that premise and that possibility that a woman with her baby, a mother with her baby, and a baby with its mother, that intelligence of mother and baby, in that wisdom, are marinated together to access and activate what we know birth, the truth about birth, to live that, to feel that, to become connected to that is so, so important in this modern day that's trying to separate us from our truth. So I hope you'll be inspired by my work in embodied birth and my book and DVD, Dance of the Womb. So come to my website and have a look around. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back again to read another chapter of my book later in the week or next week. So thanks everybody. Namaste.